Hello guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to draw an anime girl hairstyle. So I've already done this video before, but I'm just going to show you guys another hairstyle so that you guys don't have to, follow the same tutorial and draw the same hairstyle. So yeah, let's get started. First off, I'm gonna pick a point. Okay, so what I've planned is that she's gonna have kind of like a ponytail, but uh, I've already done the video that I've already done is also a ponytail. So in this video, I'm just gonna change the style a little bit so that the point is gonna be much higher. The point that I'm gonna choose is gonna indicate where all the hairstyles are gonna be, coming out from. So I'm gonna choose it like at the top of her head, and then I'm just gonna draw some lines down to make the her fringe on her forehead. And I gave this a little bit like a specific situation where her head is turned a little bit and also turned down a little bit, so that we can learn some kind of new techniques for when the hair is affected by the gravity. But by the way, so what I've planned is that she's gonna have her fringe very close to the eyes, and then a very large what's called a patch of hair. I don't know what it's called, but a thing that's gonna be covering her ear. So actually, I'm just gonna erase it right now. I don't know why I drew that. Actually, I drew that when I drew the sketch for the head, but whatever. Okay, so basically every single line that I draw is kind of follows this flow of hair. So just remember, every line is coming out from this and around the head. Even if it's behind the head, it should still follow this line. And here you can see, okay, so I've drawn this, and then I'm trying to draw this one on the other side of her head, and it's gonna be covered slightly or a part of it, but still, since this one is kind of like not being blocked by her head when she tilts her head, this part is going to be affected by the gravity. So here you can see one strand going down like this, and then another one like this. And of course, also, she kind of has what's called hair gel, so her hair is still gonna be tending to follow her hairstyle or the way her hairstyle flows. For example, here it's not everything is going to be following a straight down, because gravity is not that strong, and hairs or hair strands are quite light, so you should make them kind of like follow its hairstyle a little bit. And here I'm gonna make it very, or make these lines very far away from the head, because they are being affected by gravity again here. And then just do the same thing here. Once again, keep following this same same curve. Now also try to make it, or use these lines to indicate the shape of her head, because her head is a 3D, kind of like a sphere or an egg. So make sure that they indicate the 3D form of it. That they're being or these are going to be on top of the forehead, so use them to your advantage. So as I've said, I'm trying to make them as close or very close to the eyes, but that's just a part of the hairstyle. It's not a must, but I think it's this part. I think this part is the hardest part, because you have all these spikes that are very that are continuous in horizontally, and that's, I think, is a little bit hard to draw and to make them look a little bit natural, but basically just try to make these lines a little bit long, especially here, because this point is so high there. If you just make these lines very long, it shouldn't be a problem to make it look natural, even though the spikes are so close to each other. Okay, so another tips for when you're trying to make your lines look a little bit more natural is that you just draw them randomly. Try not to plan too much where lines are going. You see here, I'm just drawing a lot of lines, and then when I see, okay, so this line is quite good. It's quite natural, it's quite random. I just kind of keep it and build upon it. And then I just continue and do it like this. This part is quite good. Okay. And also make sure that you can see that this one is very, very bent compared to the rest of the hair. But that's good, it's good to be a little bit random, and that it does not always have the same amount of bent. Sometimes it just has to, be out of flow a little bit to be more, realistic. Okay, so I'm just going to draw the back of her hair, which is going to be, as I've said, a ponytail. So her hair is going to be tied at the end or at the back of her head, and therefore these are just going to be completely round shaped, because they are being what is called snapped onto the head. And then you have the tail around here. That's going to be start around here, I think. Okay, so it's going to grow out from this, and then around here you can probably see the first strand. Once again, it's going to be affected by the gravity a little bit, because as you can see, the gravity is straight down. She tilts her head a little bit, so make sure that the ponytail is pointing downwards like this. And of course, if she is in motion, you should also take that into account, and then draw accordingly. But you probably know how how it works when when there's motion. But yeah. Okay, so straight down you should be able to see a part of the ponytail, I think. How long should the ponytail be? I don't know. It's yeah, a part of the ponytail should be visible here. It's just that I can't seem to make it look natural enough. This is good here, and then the rest is gonna be slapped on her back, because her shoulder is kind of blocking it from falling onto the front side of her body. But the ponytail is gonna be around that long, so it's okay. You can't see the rest. So now you can see that I have a lot of what I call ghost lines, because I just randomly drew a lot of lines, as I've said before, and my job is kind of like to remove as many, or to remove all the ghost lines, and then keep the correct ones. And actually, before you do this, you should have erased them too, but this whole thing is a little bit sketchy right now. Actually, I have other parts of this drawing too, so I'm not gonna be so picky about the hair right now, because I am actually not done with the body either. So I'm just gonna do that when I finish this drawing, but that's not a part of this tutorial. So I'm just gonna be a little bit quick, because I still have something I want to show you guys after I'm done drawing all these lines. And also I'm just gonna add some lines from the point that I've chosen at the beginning, to just make it look a little bit more realistic. Also, one very important thing is to not keep them, you know, the same height or say same length. These lines, they need to be a lot of variations, especially when you have such a long fringe. Then the longer it is, the more variations there are. You know, as you can see, here a lot of different variations. This one is so long, this one is so short. Also, you can see a lot of, you know, randomness. The longer the hair, the more randomness there is also. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so this is pretty good. And so what I want to show you guys is how to, you know, shade the hair. And I'm also gonna use a little bit of a different style, and actually the style that I've been using lately. And it's that instead of shading the whole whole hair, which I did on some of my videos, and I also think I did on the other video, or on my first video on how to draw a female hair, I'm actually gonna make this a little bit more intricate. So I'm just gonna switch pencil, I think, to a 2B pencil, and then I'm gonna start drawing the shadows from the bottom of the fringe. And the way is to, you know, I have this, which is the edge of the hair, and then I just draw a line right above it to make it you know, kind of like an area between the hair, or just along the edge of the hair. I hope you guys can see this. It's a little bit small because I plan on making it a little bit small, or at least I usually start a little bit small because I don't want to mess up the whole hair. Because, you know, I don't like to erase lines. Everything becomes so bad after I've started erasing things. And you just keep doing that, the same thing, along the whole hair. Maybe not on this edge, no, not on the outer edge, because, you know, I'm gonna add shadow in this region, but, you know, it's gonna be most light on the outside, so of course you shouldn't have a shade there. But let's just keep on doing that. And from the top of the head, I'm also gonna add some you know, these shadows accordingly. They're kind of like corresponding. So this spike is pointing up, so there's another spike pointing down. Add it. You know, it's just to indicate the flow of the hair. Now this is something that is a little bit more difficult than just, you know, shading the whole hair, but it is also a little bit more beautiful, I think. It is something that you most likely want to do if you do coloring of the hair. But okay, so we got to this part, which is a really long strands of hair. And what you want to do on this part is that you don't want to just follow its edge, and it's that you're just gonna keep this line and then keep doing these spikes. Just do it like this. Okay, and then you're just gonna make kind of like symmetrical lines on the bottom part. Hope you guys understand what I mean. But, you know, it's just that, you know, you keep these spikes, but just in the other directions, in the other direction. And then so these region is going to be shaded, and then here is going to be light again. So it's going to be light there, and it's going to be light here. You're going to understand what I mean. And then you just do the same thing on this edge or along this edge of the hair. By the way, it's really messy here. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit by using some extra extra hard pencil, a 4B. I've changed to 4B. I was using, okay, so I just need to explain a bit. Okay, so the mechanical pencil I was using is actually HB lead sticks, and then I switched to 2B when I first switched to a normal pencil, and then now it's 4B. You know, 4B is basically just the one that leaves the darkest strokes. It's really that simple. There you go, and then I'm just gonna make these lines. Okay, and then I can probably erase some of the lighter parts that shouldn't be shaded, and I'm gonna start shading with my 2B pencil. And I'm, instead of, you know, those lines that I've done in my last few videos, I'm just gonna do the whole shading part. Actually, I'm gonna switch the 2H pencil. You know, shading, you don't really need that that dark marks when you're doing this part. So I because, you know, it's also more expensive. I think those the more B it is, the more expensive it is. So I'm just gonna use this normal or 2H pencil. And then the upper part. And I know this does take a little bit more time than, you know, if you want to just shade the whole thing. But you probably want to learn this technique, because sooner or later you will run into situations where you want to, you know, just test out some new things. And also, I think this is much more beautiful, and that most advanced artists do use advanced and anime artists want to, you know, use this kind of way of shading. Today I just keep stuttering. My talk is not fluent today. I don't know why. Just can't talk fluently today. But okay, so where was I? Oh, is that, you know, this is just so popular. If you just look up any, you know, kind of any kind of anime drawing, you will see this kind of shading of the hair. And it's actually the same thing for any kind of hair. You know, if you just get the idea, you will be able to shade all kinds of hair. For example, here it's just the same idea. It's just one line of highlight, one line of highlight, one line of highlight down, and then you just keep doing the same thing. And it depends on the length of the hair. And then on this part, because the hair is not gonna follow the same lines, it's gonna be tied to, you know, tied to the back of the head. We're gonna make these lines instead. So these lines here, and then maybe you can make this you know, this head shape a little bit more, what's it called, bumps. Give it some bumps, because, you know, these are made of hair strands, and hair strands can give a little bit an uneven surface. It's not completely round anyway. And this part is going to be quite dark actually, but you can still see some of the, you should be able to see some of these shading and lighting, yeah. So there you go. I'm using a 2H pencil, by the way. Should be right. Okay, so I'm just gonna switch pencil again because these lines aren't clear enough. And I'm just gonna do the same thing for here. And also, you know, when you have hair strands of the same length, try to make the highlight also around the same, you know, spot, or else it would look like the light is being, you know, very inconsistent. You know, the light has to be consistent. Of course, they are in the same environment, so the light are coming from the same place, so they should be on the same place too. Okay, so now we are actually basically done, but you know, sometimes you might want to add some kind of variation, so I'm just gonna add some strands, some really random strands. That was a mistake one, but the second line was good. And I'm just gonna give this line, damn it, keep making mistakes, whatever. And then maybe one last line that is gonna be coming out like this. Yeah, just some really random lines. That was good to make it look more realistic, because a hair cannot be so evenly or so perfectly in shape anyway. But there you go, finally. Well, oh, went out of the camera a little bit, but thank you for watching, because we are basically done. Hope you guys learned something new, and I haven't actually finished the drawing yet, but this video is dedicated to the hairstyle, so here you go. That's, you know, another hairstyle that you can draw for anime girls. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section below, and if you want to see more, just subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.